I can feel that leverage to the ground, helps me push that hip back, and from there, I'm able to wind my shoulder as much as I want to, get that good stretch, and I'm behind the golf ball in a great position.
All right, Kirk, so that one there, that felt pretty good, and I certainly didn't sway off the golf ball, right? So with driver, a real common movement pattern that we see with a lot of players when they're trying to get that extra little bit of distance and length, right, is that they'll set up to the ball and they'll go, all right, I know I need to kind of shift my weight. I know I need to turn my body, and they get themselves all the way back into this position here, right?
Right.
And we were just at this golf school kind of talking to a few players about the importance of ensuring that the pelvis is not swaying away, specifically based around driver and creating distance, okay? So what I want you to do is you're gonna jump behind me and you've got an alignment stick, right? And you're gonna talk to me about what you generally see with the recreational golfer who's moving and swaying too far away as they're trying to get that distance. So if I set up here, let's chuck that alignment stick up against my hip here. Kind of talk to me now what happens as I make my backswing for the recreational golfer.
Correct. So I see it all the time. Players, they're told they want to get behind the golf ball. They want to get behind their left shoulder behind it. So they end up just making this big move.
Yeah.
They exaggerate, everything kind of comes up and out, come out of their posture. And it's very hard from there to maintain a good angle and to get the club coming back in the golf ball from the inside, okay? So my thoughts for this is we want to make a move. We're going to push our hip back a little bit. Makes it much easier from that position to be able to turn, correctly create wind behind the golf ball.
And I love what you said there about the comment of getting behind the golf ball, because a lot of players know that they need to hit up on the ball, right? They know that they need to come from a position where they might be looking at the back of the ball and working this club on an upward angle of attack. But in the same sense, we get way too many back foot bandits come through because they'll do that and then they'll just hang back. And if we use this here as a reference of where my actual leg started, we can see that if I'm trying to get behind it, we are going to create a degree of separation here, right?
Absolutely.
So we're going to go through a little drill sequence that you've worked with some players here at this school, and you're actually putting this stick on the outside of their trail hip. So I want you to come and chuck this over here on my trail hip. So if I'm setting up in that same direction, so where are we placing this?
We'll get it just up on your, basically just below your right hip bone. So we're going to stick that right there. And basically what we want to try to feel is a little bit of connection starting off there, and instead of the tendency of moving back into that alignment stick, we want to create a little bit more of a wind where that right hip pushes back. For me, a great feel for this. If I'm looking down at my foot, I've got it a little bit of a flare to it. I want to feel like I'm taking my foot, and if I was on ice, I'm going to make my foot do something like this. But because I'm on grass, I'm really pushing in. I can feel that leverage to the ground, helps me push that hip back, and from there, I'm able to wind my shoulder as much as I want to, get that good stretch, and I'm behind the golf ball in a great position to be able to release it through.
I really, really like that. And I think one of the greatest benefits to what you've just given us there is that sort of internal sensation of a feeling of twisting into the ground. Now, we use the ground for power and speed throughout the golf swing. That's how we then translate that to impact and get the most amount of distance. The shortest, worst performers out there, well, they will tend to have no twisting. They'll tend to have this shifting, and then all of a sudden, I've ran into this stick. Rather than what you're saying there, if I stand here and I actually just really kind of put mind-muscle connection into my foot about twisting into that. Now, what happens to my body as I do that? What happens with my legs and my sternum and my chest and everything to the top?
So everything's braced to the ground. At that point, you've got a good pivot point there of just being able to turn into it. And from there, you're in a good stable position to be able to maintain your posture throughout that swing and not have to worry about shifting too much crazy to get back to the golf ball.
Yeah, so I love that. So now getting into this position, right, what we're going to do is we're going to start off, and I saw you doing this with quite a few guys, of without a golf ball, you still got the tee, so you're going to have some intent of what you're going to try and do. But if this player is a shifter of the golf ball because they're trying to create this speed, our objective from here is to feel like if this starts close to this right hip where we were, is that we are going to feel like we're almost, if anything, creating some space at the top. But then coupling that with hitting the tee out and getting to this complete full finish position where, if anything, we could tap our toe.
And we see how good Caird maintains his posture there. He's got a good tall finish. He's not lagging behind. I mean, just to throw in another benefit to this, where his back's at, it's going to be very stable. He can create all the speed he wants to without ever worrying about that reverse C, getting that little extra back pain there.
So what we'll do, dude, is after we've got a feeling of that, I'm gonna map that sensation out one more. And I really like the fact that we've used this stick on both sides, both the front side and the back side. So as I set up to this golf ball, I'm just bringing some awareness to that stick, and I can feel it if I kind of run into it, if it gets snagged. So from this address position, just feeling like I'm actually creating a little bit of space there. A real sensation of twist, mate. I love
Absolutely.
that, I love that.
Using the ground.
Yeah, using the ground. Let's put it all together and let's nut one down there. All right, felt pretty good, dude. Love
Beautiful.
it. Good
Awesome.
job.
Good work.